Shavuot Tov, everybody. Well, let me bring you another halachic story from Eretz Yisrael. A man of generous spirit and very good intentions undertakes the project of trying to promote Torah study. He focuses on a particular sefer book on halacha, and he buys hundreds of copies. His goal is to distribute them to various synagogues and make them available free of charge. He has a sign ready to leave at each shul where they announce that it's b'chinam, no charge, sefer for learning, no charge. In this one particular synagogue, he brings 3 bundles of this sefer, of this book. Each pile has 14 books in the pile. He leaves them all on a table that's in the lobby of the shul, and again invites people to take a copy, no charge, and he leaves. People saw him putting the svarim there. It was okay with them. They never saw him before. They didn't ask him his name. He didn't give them their name, no contact number, and he leaves. It turns out that this particular book was not really the best match for the congregation. 14 of the books over a period of 2 weeks were taken, but the rest of the people they weren't into so much independent Torah study, and the level of the book was rather deep. So those who opened it up and started to read it realized that this was beyond their scope. And after 2 weeks, 28 of those svarim, of those books, were still left on the table. So comes along Shimon, a member of the shul. He knows that whoever was interested at all in one of those books took it already. He knows that nobody else is interested, and he knows that one of the Gabarim, if the books aren't taken pretty soon, the intention of one of the Gabarim was to put them into Shemos, brand new books, to put them, into Shemos. So Shimon thinks to himself, and he takes the 28 books that are there, and he goes to a beis medrash in one town over, which has a strong reputation for a lot of intensive and deep learning. And he brings the books there, the space on a table in the lobby, and he puts a new sign there. It says, new sefer, new book, very interesting, special sale, 50 shekels. And the people are lining up. And in that one setting, that one evening that he was there, he sold all 28 books. And he walked away with 1,400 shekels, 1,400 shekels that people happily paid for this sefer. Shimon was feeling rather good. Number one, he felt that he got these books into the hands of people who really wanted to learn them. Number two, he saved the books from going into Shemos and just being ultimately buried with nobody using them. And number three, he had some extra money. So he was feeling really, really good. And then along comes Rosh Hashanah, and Shimon starts to think about his life and his past year, and it's Tzom Gedalia, and then it's Aser Shemei Tshuva, and he's a couple of days away from Yom Kippur, and he says, I wonder if I really did the right thing. I mean, after all, the original intent of the benefactor was to make these books available at no charge. And I charged 50 shekel for each of them. So he asked Rabbi Silberstein the question. I'm pausing for a few seconds so you could work it through in your own mind. But Rabbi Silberstein paskin that technically speaking, those 28 svarim that were left on the table after 2 weeks were in the category of hefker. They were ownerless. Whoever took. The intention of the shul was to remove them from the lobby and to put them into shemus, so that technically speaking, they were at that point ownerless. And Shimon acquired something that was ownerless and made it his own. And that technically speaking, he was entitled to charge money. But Rabbi Silberstein added that sometimes we need to look beyond the technical aspect of our actions and look at the big picture and the higher level of performance. And after all, the benefactor of those svarim spent his own money with the intention of making Torah study available from this book at no charge. So it would have been a higher level of decision to not charge for those books. He did a very admirable thing. He rescued the books from shemus and from ultimate burial. He brought them to a beis medrash where people were eager to use the sefer. But on a higher level, had he not charged money in a certain way, it would have been almost like a mitzvah hashavas aveda, of restoring a lost item to its owner, since the original owner wanted to make it available at no charge. Shimon could have done it on that level. And Rabbi Silberstein encouraged him. He encouraged him to take the 1,400 shekel, buy other books of halacha, and make them available for free for people if he wanted to be, on a higher level. Again, technically speaking, what he did was within the rigor of halacha, of the law, but the spirit wasn't quite as full. And so it's kind of interesting to have that answer as a psak, but maybe even more interesting for people who hear or read that story, that we ourselves think about, are there mitzvahs, are there actions that we can be doing on a higher level? We do a lot of good things. Maybe we can do them even on a higher level. So Barbara and I wish you all a Shavua Tov, and we're really close to that deadline for wishing Gemar Chatima Tova. May we all have the next day that's ahead of us, and then Yom Kippur, to make tremendous spiritual growth and contact with Hashem, and look forward to a year full of the most beautiful blessings to all. Shavua Tov.